Intro.
What up, 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 my peoples, my mother booping peoples. We are back. Quality Minutes Podcast. What's happening, man?
We're back in a bit. Listen, it's a special day. Number one, we got a special guest. Also, I think the last time we were in the same room together was episode number 1.
Yeah.
Was episode number 1, dog. So definitely shout out to
2. Because it was to meet the CEOs first.
No, we weren't in the same room though.
Oh, I mean, it was episode 2 though.
That was an episode. Either way, I'm in Michigan. Shout out to Detroit, man. Had a good time since I've been here, dog. Went to the Griot last night, but we'll get into that a little bit more. But definitely, let me go ahead and introduce our guest, man. Let me tell you something. I got to give him a good introduction because this is my guy right here.
Yes, sir.
First and foremost, this dude is a solid 5'6", right? 5'6". This dude was the most athletic 9th grader I've ever seen. Like. He was like 5'6". He was grabbing the rim with 2 hands.
What?
Right. He played QB for the freshman football team. Every time this dude ran around the corner, dog, 6.
He was gone.
6. And he didn't care about football at all. But he was just so athletic. He was just out here. Definitely. But also, aside from that, this is probably one of the smartest dudes I knew. Like this guy, like straight A's, like all AP classes. You ever met one of them dudes who just got good grades and it seemed like they weren't even trying? Yeah, that wasn't me. But this was that guy. This was that guy right here. So we got to definitely give it up to my man, Ken Bryant. Give it up for KB. Yeah, KB. So first of all, tell us who you are and what you're all about, brother.
What's up, man? Ryan, thank you guys. Greg, thank you for having me on the show. Definitely appreciate it. Ryan being super humble because he's the super football star from Lathrop that we all love and remember. Ryan Williams, the running back, bringing Lathrop to the playoffs, taking us back from West Bloomfield. We remember all that stuff Ryan was doing time and time again.
We were surrounded by some athletes, man. We had some good ball players around us, though. So they made us look real good, K.
Yo, definitely, man. I'm just having fun now. My family opened up a dispensary called Premier Provisions. We started in Ann Arbor, Michigan, had to move out to Big Rapids. Now we're looking to get some more locations going.
Okay, all right. So do you all still have the location in Ann Arbor or you just
wound up trying to move that one and it wound up getting caught up into some red tape with the city of Ann Arbor. They don't want you to move your business license from the location. And when we had to move the location, they said, hey, well, you're kind of out of luck. That license is going to stay at that address. So we've been kind of fighting, going back and forth with the city, seeing how we can get some help with that. So we're still working on that move for Ann Arbor.
Okay. Oh, wow. So talk to us, like, why a dispensary? Because I mean, I think you are unique in you just don't see a lot of dispensary owners who are Black, right? You just don't see a lot right now. So how did you do it, and why did you decide to do your own dispensary?
Yeah, well, I started off as a medical marijuana patient, and so I saw the difference that it made in my life. Where when we first were smoking cannabis, it was all from the streets, and those was mostly indicas. And the indicas get you the munchies to make you go to sleep. Well, you don't want to do nothing. You don't want to get nothing done, can't be productive. It's pretty much eating and sleeping. I wound up getting a sativa that helped me get up in the morning, exercise. I got motivation. I was creative. And I wound up losing like 50 pounds doing a T25 program, but I was smoking Girl Scout cookie every morning. And when I saw how sativas really helped change my life, my dad saw it, and then my brother, and they don't smoke, but they got involved, and now we're a family-owned business with my father and my brother.
Definitely, I got to clap that up. Shout out to the family-owned situation. So the process, because I always hear about how tough the process is to like get that off the ground. Talk to us about that process.
Yes, it is super tough. The number one struggle that we hear everybody talk about is the capital that's required, the financials that you need to get going. We were very lucky when we started. We started off back when it was still a caregiver program, to where we started off very small. We pretty much had a whole dispensary in a backpack where I could put everything in the backpack and take it back and forth from the store. Very small. And then we grew over about 6 months to 9 months, and we grew into a bigger storefront. But we were able to start off very small, to where now everybody that's getting licensed to do it, you're gonna have to start off with probably like $500,000 to really have a nice storefront, because 250,000.
Did you wait a second? Did you say $500,000?
Yeah, and that's on the low end. That's for a low end store. It's and the burden to try to meet that is just so crazy, because the banks, they won't finance you at the beginning to get going. So you can't go to the bank and say, hey, I got great credit, I got this bit, can I get some funding? They're like, no. You got to pretty much get family and friends to donate money and kind of get going that way now.
I think with the marijuana business, like it's like a show and tell type of thing with the banks. They got to actually know that you're actually making some moves on that kind of stuff. You know, I think because in Michigan, I think they're still kind of iffy, kind of like, well, but they're actually seeing how businesses are booming now as far as that way goes. So yeah, I can see why you can say that.
So I know that like because it's not federally like decriminalized, right? So it's regulated per state. And so I know for early on in cannabis like businesses and stuff, like they had to pay cash, like you had to pay taxes in cash, like everything is cash. Is that still the case where you're having to pay taxes in cash?
Yes, we had to make an appointment with the IRS to come down and pay them in cash. Because no banks would take it. They didn't want to have that much money going on. Now credit unions are working with you, but it is expensive dealing with the credit unions, because they got to scrutinize every single transaction, to where you're going to pay around $3,000 a month just to have a bank account, and that's just ridiculous.
Hold on. One second. Let me do this real quick.
Damn!
That's tough, man. That's tough.
Yeah. And as a retailer, we can't even write off the things that most businesses can write off. So with quality minutes, if you guys have a t-shirt store, you can write off your building rent, you can write off your employee payroll, you can write off advertisement that you did for quality minutes. For dispensary retail only, can't write none of that off. You can't write off your payroll, building, you can't write off your exit bag, nothing. Because it's federally illegal, and it's a tax clause called 280E, and they used to kind of coin it the Al Capone tax clause, where they want you to still pay taxes on what they feel is illegal goods, but they won't let you write anything off except for the cost of goods sold. So it is a headache.
He is dropping bombs right now for y'all.
He is definitely. Let me. So what would? I don't know. You got me. I got a lot of questions now. what would federal decriminalization and federal legalizations do for you as a dispensary owner?
That would make it so much opening to where we can run and operate just like any other legal business. We can go get business funding from regular banks. We won't have to pay $3,000 a month for a bank account. We can write off our storefront, our employees, our advertisement. We can do everything legit, just like any other business. And right now, it hurts a lot of dispensaries because you can't write all of that off. So now you got to up the price for this cannabis, and the people are kind of upset. They're like, why is this costing so much? Well, you guys don't know about all the taxes we got to pay.
You got to keep the lights on.
You got to keep the lights on. Got to. For sure.
For real.
So the government is saying that we'll take your cash. We'll take your cash, but we're not going to incentivize your payments. Like we're not going to let you write things off and give you an incentive. But we'll take your money though. We'll take your cash.
So crazy. They say that's what they threw Al Capone in jail for not paying his taxes on his illegal businesses.
That's crazy.
That's wild. That's wild. So since your move to Big Rapids, like how's business going in Big Rapids? I can't say I've ever been to Big Rapids before.
We came out to Big Rapids because of Ferris State University. There was some stuff they knew with the sensible policy for drug reform. They said that they were having this big campaign to get Big Rapids on board to allow medical marijuana. So we heard about that, and we wanted to go to a brand new city that never had it before, and kind of present and roll out this new way of looking at cannabis. So we came out to Big Rapids because we're a city that was opting in, and we was going to be one of the first to open out here.
That's a hell of a move, man, because I have some family that went to Ferris. Shout out to Ferris and a few of those party stories. You guys fit right at home being up here selling cannabis.
Yeah, Ferris don't joke, man. These kids up in Ferris don't play, baby.
I heard about them.
He said they don't play.
Okay, I got a question. Okay, so as far as your different strands, like, okay, do you also have your license to grow, or do you purchase those from, different areas and get your cannabis? How does that work?
Great question. We do not have our license to grow yet. I was a little nervous about growing just because I've never grown from seed to finish the whole way myself. I've helped out in grows, but it's a little nerve-wracking because if you mess up on your first harvest, you've invested so much money where you may not be able to sustain yourself for another 2 to 3 months. You're looking at another 200, 300,000, and it's like, it made it a little more risky for our business model, my family at least.
Yeah, because there's a lot that goes into growing. Like it's the lighting, ventilation, the space, the trimming. You got to know what you're doing. Like, and if you don't know what you're doing, like you're gonna be wasting a lot of cash.
Yep. And now they got testing requirements where the state, they have the laboratory, they come out to your grow shop and they pick some plants, and they just randomly take some cuts and they take it back and test. And if you don't pass all the tests, you got to throw that stuff away unless you can figure out a way to remediate it. But some of it, you just got to burn it in front of them.
So that's what you dropped on y'all Pookie and Ray Ray over there on 7 Mile. Please do not take some seeds. Start yourself a dispensary. Please know what you're doing first.
Please. We don't know if that ground is fertile and is good for cannabis growth. Like, take it easy out there. Take it easy out there. So, like, how you talked about how you were using, you were a medical user, and you found its benefits. Like what are some other, like, do you have some other like stories that you've heard where people have really been impacted in a positive way from using cannabis? Because right now, like, there's a certain sect of people who has demonized it, and they're like, it's a problem, it's a gateway drug, and all those other myths and fallacies. But like, kind of talk to us about like, how have you seen it benefit people?
Yes, we saw a lot of benefits medicinally, to where we had a bunch of people who are usually battling cancer, and they come into the store and they use Rick Simpson oil. And Rick Simpson oil has cured cancer in a lot of their cases. Some people have actually been discharged from the hospital saying, we're not going to treat you with chemo anymore or treat your cancer if you're going to continue to use cannabis as a treatment. And those people have said, I'm done with the hospitals and I'm going to use cannabis
right.
to battle this. And they've had really great success stories with Rick Simpson oil. We've heard that veterans with PTSD, they're getting off of a lot of the psycho meds they're taking, and they're beating their PTSD with cannabis. And I think the biggest one that I heard is opiates. It's like a big opioid problem out here. And they say that each city that has legalized marijuana, those numbers drop. So a lot of these kids aren't overdosing on fentanyl, trying to get this cheap stuff out there. They're going to get a strong indica from our store, and they're able to sleep, eat, and feel comfortable to where they don't have to go to those illegal street drugs.
That's right.
Those opioids have been having people dropping like flies out there. Ladies and gentlemen, take it easy. Please
take it easy. It's got to the point where like resource officers inside of schools, they have the what do you call it? The little shots when somebody is experiencing an opioid overdose. What do they call it? No, oh God, what is it called? Anyway, you know what I'm talking about? But anyway, like they've equipped officers with these like shots just in case like kids in high schools are overdosing in opioids. Like that's crazy. It's also ironic because when black folks was hooked on crack back in the 80s, they were just throwing us in jail. But
just say no.
Yeah. Now all of a sudden it's a big problem. I wonder why. Because Becky then got a hold to it now. Now it's a problem.
Oh yeah, that's just different. It's different neighborhoods being impacted now.
See, I've been watching Snowfall, so all this conspiracy stuff with the government is already in my head. So I'm already like, yeah, I know where this thing came from.
Yes, sir. Shout out to Snowfall, good show. Although I've only watched a couple episodes. Please, that's what people keep telling me. Now, let me ask you a question: Snowfall versus The Wire. I've been hearing this conversation. Like, is it arguable? Because I heard that, and I'm like, that's blasphemy.
The Wire was out cold. The Wire, I think, had more drama. It was a little better, well written. Snowfall to me is based off of Rick Ross's real life, the real Rick Ross. So I think Snowfall got a little bit more truth behind it, to where you kind of stay in a narrow story path.
Yeah, like he says, it portrays more of the real life during the 80s, and you see how beautiful black communities were flourishing.
Mm-hmm.
And as soon as they start cooking up this crack, bro, everything went black. Everything went left. And it gives you the step-by-step of how everything went and how people start catching on, like the pastors start tapping in, like, oh yeah, they bringing it in, start telling, and they start wiping out people who was talking too much. It's very deep. So I'm gonna have to say The Wire has it just because it has more seasons too.
Well, Snowfall or The Wire?
Yeah, The Wire has way more seasons, but
it's six seasons.
But we only had 3 seasons?
I think I just saw season 4 for Snowfall.
Okay, so 4. So we got 2 more.
Okay, so also we don't work for FX, nor do we work for Snowfall. So but shout out to a good shows starring black folks. So how do you answer that question, Ken? Like, I'm sure you get folks who come to you and say, like, this is a drug, you're a drug dealer. Like, marijuana should not be legal because it's a problem. Like, how do you respond? How do you, as somebody who's in the industry, respond to that?
We always let them know there's been 0 cases of overdoses known for cannabis. So it's something that comes from the earth. It has its purpose. God made this plant. We didn't make it. We got to figure out its purpose. Maybe it's not to smoke it. Maybe it's to extract the certain cannabinoids out of it and figure out how this can benefit somebody. Because now they found CBN that's in cannabis will just put you to sleep. So some people now are trying to figure out, how do we pull out just that one cannabinoid to help people with sleep deprivation, to where you won't get high, but now you be able to go to sleep. Other ones, they're trying to figure out stuff for weight loss. When they figure out that one for weight loss, the women are going to be in and out of that dispensary like crazy.
Bro, the green is going to fly off the shelves. Bro.
Paper towel stuff and bread.
Bro, if they figure that out, where do I invest? Dog, could you imagine, like, if instead of women getting their bodies done, they could use cannabis to get snatched? Or could you imagine?
Busting the dough down.
It's gonna be weed clouds over every major city in the United States. Miami is gonna be a cloud of smoke.
Like a small that's over San Francisco. It's under weed. Damn.
Yeah, dog.
So I got a question too. Okay, so as far as like the vapes, you know how the weed oils and those pens and things of that nature. I don't like those pens. Like, you know what I'm saying? How do you feel about those pens, man? I seem like they seem,
I think that it's so new. It's hard to tell how safe it is, because when it first started, there were like this acetate E or vitamin E acetate that they were complaining about. So they had to take all the vapes off the shelves. Everybody had to remove all their vapes until they figured out what was causing complications in people's health. It's so new that I think that finding manufacturers that are doing it in the most organic way, which is you want cannabis derived terpenes. So the terpenes are the flavors that you would get from the cannabis when you're smoking it. Some people use artificial terpenes where they just get it from oranges, strawberries, different things. I like it coming straight from the cannabis, so I know that they extracted this from the marijuana that was tested. They put the flavor back into the vape cart, so it's a little bit more clean and organic, so I can feel more comfortable that this is all straight from the cannabis plant, so I should be more safe. It's so new where I like to look on the back of the packaging. I don't know if I got one here with me, but on the back it'll tell you the percentages of what's in there. And when we find something that has maybe only 60% THC and the rest is 40% unknown, we're kind of skeptical on those. We're like, well, what is this other 40% we smoke?
Right. It's pretty high percent. 40%.
Hey, listen, hey, that's kind of ballsy for companies to just say like 40% unknown. Like, can you imagine like drinking like a Gatorade and it's 40% unknown? Like, what?
Why?
Right.
The audacity.
40%.
You don't even need to worry about that one. I don't need to worry about that.
And that's a pretty substantial percentage too. Like, it's almost half.
Yeah, that's damn near almost half.
Yeah. Like, what is this? And I mean, some of the guys don't put it because
Remember those little barrel juices?
Without the barrel juices.
Stretching it out.
What'd you say, Ken?
They probably are stretching it out. They're probably putting more vape oil in it than it is, cannabis, and it's probably getting them a better profit.
Stepped on.
Stepped on. Step on it.
Come on. Hey, listen, companies, please stop tap dancing on the doggone product. Please, come on, man. You hurting people out here. They don't. It's about the bottom line.
I'm not into vaping as much, but I do like the Claw. The Claw company, they have this V-Fire vape pen that I use. It's really good. It tastes the best. It hits you the hardest to where I don't have to smoke on it all day. Some vape pens are so light that you just smoking on it all day and you wind up spending too much money for one day. You mess around and smoke the whole thing for $50-$70. You like, this should have lasted me 3-4 days. And this here is what I got, which is this is a dab rig to where we dab with the concentrated marijuana. This one will save you a lot of money if your tolerance doesn't get too high. Because you take one of these, it's like smoking 3 joints. So you're good to go.
Yeah. That dab is no joke, bro. That dabbing is no joke.
It's no joke.
You gotta have your win.
They put it in, they make it into this little concentrate here. And all of this would be like maybe $40 to $60, but it's gonna last you a long time.
So Ken, like, so you all aren't like medical doctors that work at Premier Provisions, right? So when somebody comes in, I think another criticism about the cannabis industry is that, like, regulating dosage and knowing how to kind of help certain symptoms or whatever. So like, how do you help somebody who walks in? Like, I walk in, I say, hey man, I'm trying to get something for my lower back because it's so sore. How do you help them make sure they don't do anything over the top? Like, they don't, start off dabbing or whatever. Like, how do you do that? Like, what does that process look like?
That's a great question, because the state of Michigan won't allow us to give any medical recommendations since we aren't medical doctors. They don't want the people to feel like, hey, this should cure my back problem because I went to the dispensary and he said that this should cure it. So we can't ever give any statements that say this is going to cure this or cure that. So what we always do is tell people how it affects us. We're like, hey, for me, if I use this amount, you should be okay. We always have them start off very small. We tell them to do 5 milligrams of an edible. So that's a very, very small dosage. And that way you can always take more, but you can't take less. If you overtake too much edibles when you first start, you're not going to want to take it again because you're going to be very uncomfortable. You're going to think you're dying. You're going to be wanting to go to sleep. You're going to be mad that you started this. So we tell them start off slow. Give them a very small amount. Take that, wait 90 minutes. If that wasn't enough, take a little bit more, wait another 30 minutes. So we kind of gradually step them into it to where we don't want them to overdo it. We want them to have a pleasurable experience.
Definitely clap it up. First of all, I'm gonna clap it up for not only that what you just said, but also, you know, not only just being responsible, but this brother knows his stuff, people. Let's give it up. This he ain't out here just like, yeah, bro, I was toe up. I was so fried, dog. You need to try this Gorilla Glue, bro. I was so fried.
You grab this Gorilla, bro.
Right.
This is the one, you know.
I think that's what helps us stand out as a dispensary is people really love to come to us for recommendations because all of our staff uses cannabis. So we really tell you, hey, I know that this Gorilla Glue says that it's to wake you up, but this puts me to sleep. So I don't know if it was something different with this harvest that happened, where there's a different phenotype in it, because the phenotype is kind of like a mother and father having children. All your brothers and sisters are a little different. They come from the same mother and father, but they all a little different. And so you might have got LeBron on the first batch, and on the next batch you get his sister, and you're like, this ain't as tough as that first one I had. It's like, right. Well, yeah, right. It ain't the same.
Not his sister. That's a fall off, bro.
You got a sister now.
And you know, I think
at least give me Draymond Green. Like I
think that's what's like good about dispensaries. There's a lot about cannabis that a lot of people don't know. Like me, I've always been a marijuana smoker. Okay, I can't tell you where I've got it from and all that. But as far as like the bio on certain, you know what I'm saying, on different strands and sativas and things of that, I would have never known unless I went to a dispensary, man. And you got to have people like you, man, who actually can describe it and tell you exactly what to look forward to. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to y'all. You know what the hell you're talking about.
Definitely.
Thank you, definitely. Because now I know it's certain things that I smoke in the morning time versus different things that I smoke at night, because they're gonna have a different effect. And I don't want to go to sleep at 9 a.m. I want to get up and be ready to do some stuff. So
right.
You got me. I'm just rolling up. You know what I mean? Roll up, man.
He rolling dice every time. He just out here just. Let's see how this goes.
Grab your energy drink just in case, man.
Joker voice. Here we go.
Flame on.
Flame on. Hey, so Ken, let me ask you. So where do you see the cannabis industry in the next 5 years? It looks like, you know, there are a lot of states that are, you know, pushing for legalization, a lot of legislation being presented in different different states. So where do you see it in the next 5-10 years?
I'm hoping that we get to federal legalization, but then I'm a little nervous that once that happens, it's going to be the bigger corporations that come in and kind of take over. Where your big old beer companies, tobacco companies, they're going to wind up buying out all the stores that are open up now. And that's pretty much a lot of people's business plans. They're all like, hey, we're just trying to get bought out in the next 5-10 years by a big corporation. They see that it's coming and they know that they got the money and the funding to do it. So they're kind of setting up these portfolios. So a Philip Morris to look at them and say, yeah, we have pay $100 million for your 20 dispensaries. Because we want to get into the field now and time to take over. So a lot of people are kind of seeing that it's going to be a corporate takeover in the next 10 years. What we're trying to do is kind of establish this more local brand, kind of like your local brewery, to where you still would want to go see Founders of beer or whatever beer brewery that you really love that's more local. Bell's, that's what I was thinking of. Bell's. Yep.
Definitely. So like I appreciate that.
Like yeah, for sure. That's where it's headed.
Right, because I mean, you know, of course we enjoy a nice Bud Light.
Sure.
Right, we enjoy a nice Bud Light, but I mean, it's something different about like going to your local microbrewery and like you see the guys who have you know, made this beer or made this or brewed this beer, and it just tastes different. There's a different taste. And the other thing is like with those bigger companies, you know, I think because they have to mass produce, they don't use the same quality of products to produce that stuff. You know what I mean? That exactly. Like that a smaller organization would.
Yes, that's exactly it. Because I was asking a guy, I'm like, how are these big companies going to be able to get the cannabis to taste the same and have the same effect each and every time that I buy it from them? He was saying that it's going to have to be mass produced, kind of how they do tobacco, and it's going to be all put together as one big homogeneous pile of cannabis. And they say that's the only way that they see that they're going to be able to get a consistent taste to it. And that's going to be not as appealing for most canna-seurs, because we've come to grow and know Girl Scout tastes like this.
Wait.
Did you just say canna-seurs? I like it.
Definitely. Hold on. Let me. Where's my what you call it? Where is it? What am I looking for? I don't have my horn. We just gotta clap it up. Canna-seurs, clap it up for
man who's in his profession, bro. You got canna-seurs.
Canna-seurs. I like it. Because again, that's just what happens, man. When you start to mass produce something, is the quality of it starts to decrease. And I think cannabis is probably one of those things that you don't want to lose quality on, right? Because the power is the quality. Like the impact is about quality, right? And the effects that it might give you, right?
Exactly. Yes, 100%, definitely 100%.
Man, you know what, man? Side note, look, to all you states that still haven't legalized this, man, grow up. Like Tennessee, like, man, get it together out there, man. You still put people in jail for a gram of weed. Stop it. Cut it out.
Yeah. They're just so far behind. It's like, let's catch up and move beyond this. Because that's why I got into it, was my history teacher, Mr. Sleet. I remember being in history class, I was like, why I need to learn this? This happened like 1 million years ago. He was like, exactly. Well, history repeats itself. You need to know it so you can take advantage when you see it repeating. And it just reminds me of Prohibition all over again. So
exactly. You are absolutely right.
See another Italian jumping on a boat and come and take over another land.
Nah.
I don't see that happening anytime soon.
I don't see that happening tomorrow, though.
I don't think it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Easy, man.
Shout out to Boardwalk Empire too. I don't know if you've ever seen that show. That show is essentially about prohibition back in the 20s and 30s and 40s. So if you have not seen Boardwalk Empire, check out Boardwalk Empire. Also, we don't work for HBO Max, so that too. So tell me about, like, what are your thoughts on CBD? Like, CBD is essentially like, marijuana's cousin, but without the psychedelic effects. Like, what are your thoughts on CBD?
Hold on, before you answer,
yes,
is that the same as K2? Would that be in the same kind of?
Nah.
Because what was that K2 stuff they used to sell? You remember that stuff?
Yeah, K2 super harmful. It's synthetic marijuana. And so what these guys were doing, they were finding all these chemicals that weren't illegal, but they still are harmful to you. And so the government would go ahead and make it illegal, and then they would just find a substitute for whatever illegal ingredient they put in there. They go find a substitute and do it. And that stuff was hurting people, man. They were like losing their mind and fighting with their parents, and I can't remember if they had some deaths with K2, but that was a real bad situation for about a year or two. That K2 was just harmful.
That was terrible.
And then the CBD was cool. With CBD is this non-psychoactive, so you won't get high smoking CBD or using CBD. So it's a great way to kind of usher somebody in who's like, hey, I'm really having some problems. I need to go to sleep, or I got this pain in my knees, arthritis. I don't want to get high. I got kids that I'm nervous about. I got a grandmother that doesn't want to, well, for whatever reason that they're uncomfortable using it to get high at the beginning. This is a great way to introduce it to them, because once they see that this does have some benefits, then they start to get a little bit more open to, well, maybe I'll try a little THC with it, because we always tell them CBD is great, but if you have the entourage effect of CBD, THC, CBN, CBD, all these cannabinoids together, you're going to get an even better result if you use it all together.
So definitely shout out to CBD. There's a ton. So I'm in North Carolina, which is, has not legalized marijuana. And and so what we see is there's a ton of CBD dispensaries like all over the place. So I think, I mean, it's a smart move on these people who are opening up these places, because once legalization happens federally, they could just transition right to the marijuana. So, you know,
right.
Absolutely.
That's definitely the truth. I believe that a guy that was up at U of M, I think he went to North Carolina to start his CBD farm. I think that's where he had went to, was North Carolina. And he's doing really well. All they're doing is because CBD now, you can sell that across the nation. That's the hemp is federally legal, I believe. So
right.
You can ship it wherever you want to.
So if somebody, a young individual who wants to get in this industry, who wants to do what you want to do, right? They want to open up their own dispensary. Like, what 3 pieces of advice that you would give them, you know, when it comes to getting into this industry? What would you say?
Don't get discouraged at the beginning, because it's going to seem almost like there's no way in. It's going to be very difficult at the beginning. Just finding a location is probably the hardest thing you're going to come across trying to figure out how to do. I wouldn't get discouraged. I would then find some type of store that you look up to, and I would either work there for 6 months, intern. I would do something to get my feet wet, just understanding the industry, so you have more of a realistic expectation on what you want to do with your own store. The third thing would be to get with the right group of people, whether that's your mentors or your attorneys. I believe that the attorneys at the beginning for us was very helpful. They help us understand the law to where we weren't getting in trouble before we got going. So finding that right group of people, lawyers, mentors, consultants, that's the third piece is going to really help you. Because the one guy always told me, he was like, if you want to go fast, go by yourself. But if you want to go far, go with a group. So if you get the right group with you, you'll do well.
Wait a second. We got a
message.
Yeah. And you know, it's funny. It's funny about that. I just read that somewhere too. I promise you, today I just saw that written somewhere, man. So I appreciate that's a good piece of advice. Let's DJ or air horn. So, hey, we all are the same age. How about this year is our 20th our 20th year out of high school. How about that, bro?
That is crazy. Like, where did the time go? 20 years? Huh? Nah.
Hey, let me just say this, man. This dude, Ken, this dude is the most positive dude I've ever met in my entire life, dog. This dude is always smiling. He's always trying to have a good time. I remember prom night. We was driving past a hotel, and I just saw him outside the hotel room just going wild, like just going crazy. Like, like, is that Ken? What is he doing? He's a wild boy, man.
That was a great night.
I'm sure.
He used to probably be mad. I'm like, why is he just so happy all the time? Like,
bro, I would run into him up in Ann Arbor because he went to U of M, and I see him, and he would just be partying like dude, you are Rick James, bro. Like minus the cocaine and other stuff.
Please, but no blue. I'm glad you mentioned that. So
we have a great time, man. I like to smile and have a good time. Shoot, we only live once, might as well enjoy it.
So you're an alum from Michigan?
Yes. And that's where I learned about all the cannabis. That's who really taught me about cannabis was Ann Arbor.
The hash bash.
Oh yeah. Hash bash is still going on, man. That thing be woo.
To our listeners who don't know what hash bash is, can you all explain what is hash bash?
Hash bash. I don't even know if it's actually legal. Like, I didn't know if it was even legal, but I know this is the only time once a year that you can go up there to Ann Arbor and people just smoking bud, bro. Nobody's getting stopped. It's like a cloud of smoke when you walk in there. It's just a heavenly place for marijuana.
Okay.
You know.
Yep. And it's so cool. You got politicians there that's advocating for it. You got people with epilepsy, different medical problems that's advocating for it, and then you're able to smoke. And it was kind of like this protest against the government. And hash bash was a really central part of getting legalization going, because that's kind of where MI Legalized kind of jumped off their grassroots efforts after piggybacking off of hash bash and getting signatures and different things like that. And most of the people who work with hash bash work with MI Legalized. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of the grassroots movement to kind of get this thing legal.
You're right, man. You're right. Another question about the University of Michigan, man. Let me take off my damn shades, man.
Scoot over there so you can see.
How did you feel about Jim Harbaugh, buddy?
Oh, he can go. Did they get rid of him yet?
No.
He's still there.
He gave an extension.
He's still there.
Nah, he should have been gone. I really thought he was gonna be our savior. I thought he was gonna come in and turn that program around, and it has been the opposite. I'm putting my money on Juwan Howard now. I got my hopes just banking on the basketball. Let's go, Jay Howard.
That's what I'm talking about, Howard. Let's go, baby. Take all the recruits. We need all that, man.
Hey, definitely shout out to Juwan Howard. Like he's done a good job with that program, man. Like to be his first year there, man. That's pretty good. Shout out to the Fab Five, man.
And what was so cool at the Fab Five was Jimmy King had came to our store up in Ann Arbor, and he wanted to get with us and do some things. And so I thought that was so cool. I wasn't even there, and they called like, Jimmy King here, he want to meet you. I was like, I will be there in 20 minutes. Jimmy King. I thought that was so cool that he wanted to be involved, and he reached out. He saw we was a black-owned store. He wanted to do some things with us. So Jimmy's gonna have some stuff coming back out, I believe. He's working with some guys, and hopefully our team back up with him. Up here in Big, I really didn't want to do too much. He wanted to launch off in Ann Arbor, since everybody know the Fab Five in Ann Arbor. Right. That made sense too.
For sure, that makes some sense. Shout out to Jimmy King, man. Shout out, man.
Shout out to Jimmy King. Yeah. So I think also, like, we're talking about marijuana and legalization. Like we got to talk about how, now there are a lot of people benefiting. State governments are benefiting off of the money made from legal marijuana sales, but we still got people locked up behind bars who, for marijuana possession charges or distribution charges, you know what I'm saying? And so again, that's another incentive to like let's make sure we federally legalize, but also expunge those records, because that's just like, you can't have people sitting behind bars for marijuana possession and hella people are out here smoking weed. Like, that's crazy. It's weird. That's weird.
It's so crazy, man. And most of the folks has been locked up, like you said. I know that this group, MI Legalized, I was talking about, I believe they helped get Michael Thompson out of jail. He was like in jail for 20-something years for some marijuana charges. They wound up getting him out, and then they had a fundraiser to actually get him his house. They got him a house maybe like a month or two ago. So they're trying to get that expungement going. And I think the latest I heard is they want to make it free. They want to make it to where you don't have to pay or get lawyers to get this expunged off your record. They want to have like an automatic expungement, I believe. So that's going to be key. The next thing they're trying to do is the social equity part, which is, I thought Oakland, California did a great job. What they did was they said, anybody who's been locked up for marijuana charges, we're going to set aside half of our business licenses just for you guys who've been locked up because of marijuana. And so they set aside half their business licenses just for people that got out of jail.
Oh, that's dope.
That's solid. Yep. Are they also providing, like, so like, these dudes, they know how to hustle and they know how to grind, but like there's that yellow tape, you know what I'm saying? And there's like those things that you got to make sure you know about as well. Like, hopefully they're providing that education as well, how to navigate the industry, how it stands now.
That's where they kind of started to fall off a little bit, just what you said, because it was the funding that they needed and understanding all that yellow red tape. They were finding that most white guys with a lot of money were going to these guys and saying, hey, since you're eligible to get one of these licenses, we'll front you the cash and stuff. But they basically were owning majority of that company. And so the guys that was supposed to benefit really weren't getting the benefit from it. So, yep, that was the next downfall.
I always want to take them.
There's always something, man. It's always something.
Yep, they need a program that's going to help do those two things: fund them, and then give them the human capital, the knowledge to know how to get this off on the right set. Our attorneys and accountants, they do give discounts for people that qualify for the social equity program. So there are certain groups that's trying to help out and kind of get this going, but it's so hard because everybody at the end of the day is trying to make $1, and they just gonna take advantage of you if they can. So
that's what it's all about, man. People want that dollar, man.
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. So you had talked about like wanting to expand and get different locations. What is where's the next move?
I want to go to Southfield. I want to go back to the field.
Back to the field. That's right.
Hey, I think that'll be
back to the field.
That's a hot spot to be right now, man. That'd be dope, man.
We would kill it in Southfield just because I know that culture so well, that group where I could just come in there and lay something out that we would just love. I'm like, man, I would hit this right on the nail for Southfield because we're like this cool group of folks, but we not niggas. We like black folks. It's cool.
But it is a lot of niggas out there now.
Barely yet.
Y'all got some niggas now. Yes.
Hey, but listen, man. In my older age, I'm starting to appreciate places like Southfield and Oak Park and Ferndale because there's not a lot of places around the country like those cities where you have working class to middle class black people. You know what I'm saying? And it's majority black people, like, you know what I'm saying? And it's not, it's not a crazy, because most people, when they say like you from Detroit or Metro Detroit or outside of Detroit, they feel like, you grew up in, you know what I'm saying? Like they got don't be menace to society in their head. Like they think it's like that, but
it's like the slums.
Yeah, but that's not always the case. Like we have some solid like black and communities of color that, that are flourishing and have been for many years, and you just don't see those neighborhoods like that everywhere else.
Yeah,
definitely agree.
I went to Oak Park, Ken. You know what I'm saying?
OP, shoot, that's same thing across the street.
You already know, man. Yes, sir.
Oh yeah. That's where I grew up, man. That's where I met this guy.
You sure did. Yup.
Shout out to Einstein Elementary.
Shout out to the Eagles. Shout out to Mariah Carey. Just want to throw that out there. Shout out to Mariah.
Yeah, real quick story, Ken. We were so when we graduated from Einstein Elementary in our neighborhood in Oak Park, they had us sing Mariah Carey's "Hero." You know this song? And so his last name is Willis and mine is Williams, and so we sat next to each other during graduation. And then we was singing our hearts out, man. And then a hero comes along, to carry on, and you finally see the truth. All right. Sorry about that. Shout out to Southfield though.
Still don't know why Mariah was the
because we was heroes, man. We had to find a hero inside of us.
Is that what it was?
That's what it was.
Message.
There you go. Message.
Message.
Find the hero inside of you.
Find the hero inside of you, y'all.
Smoke some of that legal weed over there in Premiere.
For real.
Yes. So anything else you want to tell the people about the industry, or any pieces of advice, or just anything like about just tell us about Premier Provisions, like where can they find you, what website, what tell us more about Premier Provisions.
You have a DoorDash.
Our website is premierprovisionsbr.com. The BR stands for Big Rapids. On there you'll be able to actually meet some of the bud tenders. We have a little section on there. We build relationships with our customers. We know them by first name. We know what's going on with the children. When they got this event going on, that we build a real rapport with these guys. So we actually put our bud tenders as like the stars of our store. our billboards. You will see all the bud tenders on our billboards, on our website. They're standing out. So we really like to highlight the people, because I think what makes us special, besides the products, are the people that we got working there. That's what really makes us special.
That's what's up, man.
And you know what? That's what I appreciate, because that's what we're about at Quality Minutes, is just highlighting the people, highlighting people who are just grinding every single day and working their butts off. And you don't have to be LeBron James, but you can be, you know, Kenny Bryant, who's running his own business and showing up to work every day and changing people's lives, because that's what you're doing. Like, you're changing people's lives right now, man.
Thank you, man. I definitely appreciate that. Thank you. Heck yeah, definitely appreciate that. That makes it all worth it, Ryan. Thank you, guys.
Well, you my guy, dog. You my guy, man. I'm telling you, dog. When I saw this dude jump up and grab the hoop with two hands, I'm like, I'm like, he's 5'6" on a good day. Like,
I'm 5'6" right now, and I still couldn't do that. Right? Sheesh, that's pretty damn impressive. Bro.
Yeah.
Have some fun, man. We used to have some fun.
We did, dog. Oh, you remember them study sessions when we had AP statistics together? Remember we used to.
I'm already up with Benny, and I ain't gonna say the other, but yep.
Yes, sir.
Benny, man.
My man Benny. Shout out to Benny, man.
He ain't learned a thing at them study sessions because of the girls we had over there.
Hey, I used to go to your house and study for 2 hours, and I got to go home and study for another hour because I ain't getting.
Go study in the first place.
We be down there listening to Jay-Z and albums that was out.
Learning everything else but
yeah, everything. And listen, let me also say this, man. You know, so I ain't riding, but my man Ken used to come through with some. He knew some ladies, man, like. And
kind of like Al B. Shore, man.
Like, he knew some good looking young ladies, man. And I'm like, Ken, where are you meeting these girls? Because they wouldn't go to Lathrop. They be just like, Ken, where are you meeting all these girls from, bro?
I have no idea, but I hated dating girls that went to my same school, because I used to always see guys, and after class they always got to go walk with their girlfriend. She got to go find. I used to hate that. I'd be like, I ain't dating none of y'all to go here. They all went to Renaissance and Cass and Ford, and
right.
I think I only had one Opar girlfriend, and everybody else was from somewhere else. I grew up with them. Like, I'm tired of seeing these. You know what I'm saying? I'm tired of seeing y'all. I know what y'all are about. Let me go see what's going on in Lathrop or Southfield, Ferndale. You know what I'm saying? What's up with y'all?
Hey, listen. Hey, shout out to the girls we went to high school together with, and they kept themselves together because it was and you said that.
I can't wait to see y'all at my 20-year reunion, boy.
Oh,
Greg
man.
is coming in with a vengeance. I remember that Martin episode when he won Man of the Year for his reunion. I'm coming to that boy with a checklist slide. You want that boy like, woo-woo!
Yeah, man.
Hey, bro, I'm coming in with that same.
But look, is that you know why you go to reunions, so you could go stun on all the folks? Is that why you go to reunions?
Ooh, that's a great question. I think the older I got, the more I just value my friends I had when I was younger. Because it seemed the older you get, the more BS people come with, to where you don't really get to know them. Really, they want something from you. Where if I could just go back and hang out with the guys that we was just throwing the ball around, hooping with, I feel more comfortable with doing that nowadays.
Yeah, I hear you.
That's why me and this guy has been friends for 27 years.
It's been a long time.
Long time, man.
Wow. Now that's a great friendship right there. Yeah, see, y'all gotta hold on to that, man.
Oh, no doubt, man.
I ain't got no choice, it seems like, at this point, bro. I met this dude in the 5th grade. We met in the 5th grade, bro.
Wow.
I said we were talking chicks problems back in 5th grade, bro. The night, like, bro, that's how we knew that these women were unstable, or maybe we just didn't. I don't know. We learned early, man. We learned early, bro.
I ain't jumping in. I'm not gonna second that at all. I'm gonna stay safe.
And in the 5th grade, we thought those problems was real. We was like, we got real problems.
I ain't going through nothing though. I ain't going through nothing at all though.
Nothing.
We ain't even started scratching the surface of the problems, bro.
Yeah.
I'm miserable. Like, man, you see how she walked down the hallway today and she didn't even look at me 2 times, bro. You gotta let that go, dog.
You gotta let it go. Let it go.
Tough times back
It was tough
days, bro. I'm excited for my 20th reunion, though. I am excited.
I'm excited too.
Because there's a lot of people not still around after 20.
Yeah.
We lost a lot of people, so it's a blessing to even talk about our 20th anniversary.
It's true, man. That's true. Because we lost some too, man. We lost a couple folks on the way, man, and for all types of reasons. So it's definitely so it's a blessing to be able to sit here and talk to you, man, Ken, and be able to podcast with my brother here because we don't have to be here, but we are here.
We here and we put in
So with that being said, we always ask, how do you make your minutes count? That's our moniker. We say make every minute count. So how are you making every single minute? Your 1,440 minutes a day. How are you making that count, Ken?
1440, baby.
I gotta take after the Puff Daddy quote where he got that one song where he say, I hustle like there's no time left on the clock. Everybody hustle like it's tomorrow. I hustle like it's no time left.
Oh, wait a minute. Let me
message.
Gotta hit him with the Diddy box.
Right.
God, hey, okay.
I like that. Hustle like it's no time on the clock. Hustle like it's no time on the clock.
That's pretty dope, bro.
Yeah.
Dope.
What about you, Greg? How you making your minutes count?
I'm making my minutes count by knowing where I came from, always respecting where I came from, and trying to be better where I'm going.
Mm-hmm.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
That's how I make my minutes count, man.
I hear you.
How about you, buddy?
You know what? I'm making my minutes count because I feel like I'm always trying to learn something new. You know what I'm saying? And I think that sometimes we get complacent because we feel like we've arrived, but I feel like there's a lot of things I need to learn about. There's a lot of things I don't know. So I just want to continue to learn, listening to different podcasts, aside from the Quality Minute podcast, plug. Yeah, definitely. So that's how I'm trying to make my minutes count. So you want to, do you got any businesses that you want to plug? Any other businesses aside from your own that you want to kind of share with the folks?
What I've been trying to do is I've been trying to get other Black people involved in the industry, and I've been having some hurdles. I didn't think it would be that hard to get other folks that want to kind of join up and team up. It's still like this separation thing we got back from slavery, where it's like the Blacks don't want to get together, and then I don't understand why. But one lady who's really been really good at bringing us together is Anqunette Jamison. She goes by Q. She has a company called Culture. And she's actually the former TV host on Fox 2, Anqunette. And she wound up getting MS, so she retired from there to focus on her treatment and helping other people with their ailments and dealing with cannabis. But Q has always looked out for us and always putting us up on new things to do. She introduced us to Dana Nessel, the Attorney General, to try to help us understand the next level on how to progress things. So she's really been a great mentor that hasn't wanted anything from us, but just to provide a way to bring more people of color together in this industry. So I definitely want to shout out Q. Check her out. Her company's called Culture, spelled with the Q. Quture. She does CBD only products right now, so it's really cool to help people out that want to. They sit online with her and they have CBD tea, and she will tell you what's helping her with her ailments. She asks you what's going on with you, and she'll give suggestions. So Anqunette Jamison with Culture is excellent. Somebody I definitely want to shout out and plug her for sure.
Definitely shout out Anqunette Jamison. We'll put that in the comments. Put that in the comments.
For sure. I have a it's an independent family, husband and wife. My man Brad Joplin. He makes tumblers, custom tumblers. Man, him and his wife do amazing jobs, bro. I have a few of them myself. I have a Black Mamba. I have a Charlotte Hornet with Muggsy Bogues and Larry Johnson and Alonzo Mourning on there. I don't know what their actual business name on Facebook, but Brad Joplin, Joplin. Shout out to my boy Brad, Black owned company. Keep on doing y'all thing out there, brother.
Definitely. I want to plug. It's another apparel company based out of North Carolina. It's called Nyla Elise. Nyla Elise, the guy he been making t-shirts for a long time and other kind of clothes and apparel. His tagline is Carolina culture, but it's called Nyla Elise, named after his daughter, I think. So definitely shout out. I don't remember my man's name, but go check him out. We'll put his information in our comments. All right. So it's that time. Quality music recommendations. You got what you listening to, man? Something that you could share with the folks.
Oh, I've been listening to Nipsey Hussle for sure. When you want to get in that grind mode, that Nipsey Hussle, I just played that last album and I'm good. You just let it play.
Yes. R.I.P. Nip. Neighborhood Nip.
Yo. I'm gonna keep it Carib too. Snoop Dogg has a brand new album out, From the Streets to the Suites.
Oh.
It's produced by a Oakland, California DJ. Mad bangers on this joint, bro.
Okay.
Mad bangers. Shout out to Snoop Dogg, my favorite artist of all time. Salute.
I don't have my phone, but my wife just sent me this album. It's just like straight like African dance music, bro. I can't even think of the name of it right now, so I'm not even gonna plug it. But I've been listening to that. RJ Payne. I think I might have talked about RJ Payne, but I've been listening to a lot of RJ Payne. If you don't know who RJ Payne is, he's a rapper out of Philly. He's got just bars on top of rap. Like if you just enjoy rap, RJ Payne is your guy. He's gonna hit you over the head with a lot of stuff. So that's what I'm listening to.
Ken, we took a 10-minute car drive, bro. I don't know what my playlist was on. All I know, we had a bar overload. With RJ and Vinny and Conway. It was just bananas. Bro.
So we got to ask, because we asked everybody this. Do you know about Griselda?
Griselda Blanco?
No. So it's a rap group based out of Buffalo, New York, called Griselda, right? It's three dudes, West Side Gun, Conway the Machine, Benny the Butcher. And they got another girl named Armani Caesar, who is fairly new to the group. But like, if you like rapping, this is your homework. You go listen to some Benny the Butcher, Conway, and West Side Gun. I'm telling you,
they were the only group that were signed by Shady Records and Rock Nation at the same time.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm about to bang that tonight. I'm about to listen to that tonight.
Listen, West Side Gun. Let me tell you something. West Side Gun got hella love for Detroit. You know, he'll drop like bars about Detroit. He'll talk about wearing buffs. Yep.
At the new wave.
You be talking about new wave, yeah, man. West Side is that guy, bro. He's got some great merchandise. But for
where you gonna go to first?
Let's see. All right, this is what you need to go listen to. For Benny, I would go listen to Plugs I Met. So write that down. Plugs I Met is for what are you gonna say? Tana Talk?
Depending on what he liked, but I would go with Plugs I Met too first.
Plugs I Met.
And then Tana Talk for sure.
And then for West Side Gun, go listen to Supreme Blind Tail. West Side Gun.
Be prepared to hear a lot of gunshots too.
and for Conway, there's a lot of Conway, Johnny. Reject 2. Go listen to those.
Reject 2.
Everybody is Food, just the whole series.
Everybody is Food. Okay.
Because it's so much material. They remind me of all those classic Mobb Deeps,
the Locks.
The Nas's, just all of them just mixed together, bro. It's just crazy.
Yeah.
This sounds like something I'm gonna like. I gotta get up on this.
Yeah,
and
so
smoke weed. I know you gonna
yes, go get you some of that sativa and go pop pop in that Benny, pop in this West Side, you gonna be like, I'm telling you, call me, let me know what you think, bro. I promise you. You gonna love it.
I got
Yeah, they always give us a call.
Yeah, but also we don't work for Griselda Records either, so or Shady Records. So, hey man, Ken, man, we appreciate you, brother, man. It was a good time, man, talking to you right now, bro. So,
success, man. Welcome to the Hard Work Hall of Fame. Quality Minutes.
Thank you, man. Quality Minutes. Love you guys. Appreciate what you're doing. We're gonna be plugging you guys too. I love this podcast. It was super fun, man. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely, and we got to get out to Big Rapids sometime.
How far is Big Rapids from here?
It's like north. It's north of Grand Rapids, so it got to be like 2.5 almost 3 hours probably.
Okay.
Yep.
I know we go anywhere close to Fair State, it's going down.
That's what's up, man. All right, man. Well, livequalityminutes.com. Go visit livequalityminutes.com. Go buy some merch. Also, the Fry Guy. If you are in Detroit, the Fry Guy Festival. Wait, this is probably not going to be released until after the Fry Guy Festival.
It don't even matter. Fry Guy Festival. We're going to boop y'all up because Quality Minutes is the building. Merch is for sale. Podcast is going to be rolling. Ken, you going to even... It's going down.
It's going down. It's going hashtag it's going down. So we love y'all. What say it?
Like, subscribe. We love everybody. Mama just for having you. Gang, gang. Brr.
All right. We out of here.